Right, Enzo, it's been a long time. I first met you at the WBC convention 2010.
Oh yeah,
How was that for you?
it was amazing. It was a great night, and you know what I do. I loved what I did, but I'm a fan. I'm just a fan. I pulled a few strings, and I got to sit next to Roberto Duran on the table having dinner.
That's cool.
So it was just amazing. My dad's hero was Duran as well, so it was great for him to meet Duran as well.
Okay. The last time I met you, like, I don't think you remember me, but I used to see you when you sparred Chisora. I forget who it was that Chisora fought. That was years ago, Don Charles' gym, my gym.
Yeah.
How old?
Up in Finchley?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Shut down now. How well do you know Chisora and Don Charles?
I don't really know Derek well. I spent a bit of time with him, obviously sparring. Took me out in his little car from Finchley. But I speak to Don now and again. I think Don's a great guy. You know, I speak to him now and again. I said I'd go up and visit him soon. So yeah, top fellas, two of them.
Okay. And I've been hearing you say you want to come back.
I say I want to come back. I've been wanting to come back for a long time, and I get myself into a position where I'm just as good as I was 10 years ago. I've been sparring, I feel great. Then I pick up an injury, that sets me back. Then I back to normal. Then I pick up another injury. So if I look at my career, I should be very proud of what I've done. But there's certain parts of that career where I went into fights, and I say less than 100%. I was less than 50. One fight in particular, I was less than 20. Wow. So I'm not gonna do nothing, especially at my age. I'm not gonna do nothing unless I'm 100%. And for 5 years now, it's eating me wanting to fight again. But I've come to the point where if I do, brilliant, can't wait. I'll do it properly. If I don't, I got things to do. I'd love to, but I got things to do. I do it properly. I run an amateur club. You know, I just started training pro fighters in Ebony. I've had a couple of offers since I've been here as well, so I'm not too sure yet. But like I said, if I do it, I'd be chuffed. If I don't, you know, it's not the end of the world for me.
It's not that big a deal.
It is a big deal, like
Oh, or maybe it is.
But it's more to do with something that was eating at me, and you know, it sort of took all my life for the last 5 years. I herniated disc that sent me back for 2 years. Then my brother passed away, and it's just everything just goes wrong for me, and I get to a point where I'm ready, and then something else happens. So you know, maybe something telling me not to do it. Maybe something's telling me just to get in the gym and train fighters and just keep active myself. And but no, I'm fit. I look after myself. I eat clean.
Yeah.
I feel good.
I mean, I understand boxing very well. I'm 30 now. I've been around it for a long time. I spar. I had 2 fights last month.
Did you spar when I was at Chisora's gym?
Yeah, moved around with a few people.
Did. Yeah, I remember you sparring.
Over the years, I've actually sparred a lot of pros. I've sparred. I'm not saying I'm that good, but when you know people, they're willing to move around with you.
Yeah, nice.
But I've sparred Liam Williams, Hosea Burton.
Oh, brilliant.
I sparred Tyson Fury a couple of times. It's just sparring, just moving around.
Yeah, of course they are.
So the reason when I say I know boxing quite well, going back to yourself, just if you feel you're good enough to fight, if everything's firing, if you really want to do it, it's up to you. But if something's not right, then it's like with Roy Jones. I always loved Roy Jones, and it's a shame he fought on for so long. You know.
Well, it was a point when I boxed Roy Jones. It was the fact that I hadn't been a cruiserweight for a few years, about 5 years. I haven't been a cruiserweight. He's been knocking out some top boys in sparring in Russia. They thought he was this, they thought he was that. And they basically chose me as a name, an ex-name, an ex-world champion. And he was promised a world title fight if he beats me. But I told him at the weigh-in, I said, you just made a mistake. And he said, no, I am. And I said, look, you haven't made a mistake. I'm going to knock you out tomorrow night. I said, it'd be an honour to share ring with you. I said, but you brought me here to get knocked out, but I'm going to knock you out. And he just laughed, but I knew I would. I knew my style at that time. Don't get me wrong,
yeah.
I could have knocked him out in his prime if I caught him, but I never would have caught him. I know that 100%.
I love the honesty.
No, I got to be honest. You know, if I landed a right and a left hook on his chin, I guarantee I'd knock him out at any point in his career. But I reckon in his prime and a little bit after his prime and just before his prime, I talk about 99.9% chance I don't land that punch. He was that good. But as you get older, you slow down, the abilities you relied on for years stop, and they're not as good, they're not as quick. And I knew that. And I still felt good, and I still felt strong. And it was all the point with me was, I knew that if I caught him, I'd have an effect. And in fairness, after he said to me, I was by far the hardest puncher he'd ever faced. So,
wow.
Yeah, so that was great coming from Roy, and he said he loved the way I slipped the head and body, and I said it was something I learned watching him. So he used to whip my little left up to the top of the head, tap it, and then go underneath. So he was an amazing fighter, and we could talk about him at least one point in his career being the greatest of all time.
He came close to it. For me, we'll bring it to an end. I know you haven't got a lot of time. Yeah. I mean, I think Robinson was the greatest because the amount of competition he beat. And there's another guy who people don't talk about, Harry Greb. But I think there's a big problem with boxing nowadays.
It's massive. You can all have your goats left, right, and centre. You can all think. For me, it was Leonard.
Leonard.
Yeah, I love Leonard. I think I was more of a Duran fan than Leonard. But for goat status, for me, it was Leonard. I thought Leonard was amazing.
I think a lot of these journalists, I'm not trying to have a go, but because I've sparred people, I think in certain aspects I can give realistic opinions. They don't take into account, like if you want to talk about Duran, naturally I just think he was too small. Like the guys that he boxed, like with he just, look, I've sparred people, let's just say Liam Williams. Liam Williams never actually, like this guy practically had me out on my feet. And he was only, I've sparred other people, like more my own weight class. They'll hit you with the hard. I think I've got a good chin, but this guy, he had me practically out on my feet.
He's a nasty little fucker.
And it's like he's a cool guy.
He
He was playing with me, but I'm like half tempted to turn to Dominic Ingle and you know what I mean. But what I'm trying to say is they don't take account of certain things, and I just think weight-wise, Duran was just too naturally.
Yeah, and he was. But that if you look at it, that's what makes him so great.
Yeah.
Because he went up. He went up in the weight, and the fight with Barkley,
Ivan Barkley,
what a tremendous win. The fight with Moore, what a tremendous win.
And when he took on Hagler,
and you give Hagler a fight as well.
Yeah.
But like you said, to go to that next level, he's just a little bit too small.
The power, you know what I mean? Like when you spar bigger guys, I've dropped people before that are my level, but it's like some of these bigger guys, you'll hit them full power to the stomach, no effect.
Exactly, mate.
But if they hit you, it will have an effect.
Definitely feel it.
Let me ask a quick question. I don't know how much time you got. With boxing, I've always been a very game guy. I'm 30 now. Even I didn't really box much when I was young. I'm going to have as many fights as I can now. And with me, like some of the white collar fights I've taken, I've joined the amateur club now. So the amateur's a different level. Me, I'm happy to fight anybody. But I don't understand the mentality with boxing where a lot of people, they pick and choose. I don't get it.
To be honest with you, I don't understand. I'm quite proud of the way I went about my career. Frank Warren has openly said I'm the only fighter you've ever had that's never ever turned anyone down. He even tried to get me to sidestep two fighters, and I wouldn't do it.
Wow.
I just wouldn't do it. He said we can make better money this way, you've got a better route that way, and I said no, I'm not giving up my belt for no one. And it was like, he sort of admired that, but then as a manager he went to probably go a different way. But I was in it to fight the best. I fought anyone, I fought everyone, I feared no one, and I give it everything I got every time I went in the ring.
But that's my mentality. Just find out what you can do.
I think a lot of things, what people don't realise tomorrow, at this day and age, it's the TV networks that run it. It's not as easy as fighting Spencer and Crawford, for example. It's not as easy as getting them two together, sign a contract to fight.
I know.
It's a bit more than that. It's you've got Fury Joshua. Which TV company is going to give up the £1 billion they're going to make to the other TV company? So it's a lot more. Boxing is run by TV. And I think that is why we don't see some of the great fights that we should see.
I understand. Long term, I think I'm a bright guy, or at least I like to think so. I've got different plans for what I want to achieve in boxing. Long term, I even want to try and get into promoting, and not necessarily. I'll keep it short. not even necessarily, not that I would try to take over boxing, or not that I would necessarily be the one to try and make money, but I'm an excellent talker, and like a lot of fighters aren't necessarily. I want to try and be in a position where I want to talk to people at Matchroom, and I want to try and I remember I'm only 30, like I want to try and work my way up in whatever capacity. What advice can you give me, Enzo?
Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Speak to people, get your point across. Wow people. Show them that you are a valuable member, or you could be a valuable member to the company, and that's all it is. And you know, boxing companies. We say Matchroom for example, because we hear now as Matchroom. They're a well-oiled machine. Everything runs. You know, I see some of the boys. They're constantly on their phones. They're constantly on their laptops. They're constantly setting things up. So you need to prove to a company, whether it's Frank, Eddie, Hennessy, Hobson, Sauerlands.
Yeah.
You need to prove to them that you could be a valuable asset to the company. So you know, just keep doing what you're doing. Like you say, you're a good talker, and just wow some people.
Yeah, I'll finish it off. My mentality, I'm a very straight up honest guy. And you just keep meeting people, tell them what you're about, this is what I'm trying to do, and then you gauge either this person wants to engage with me or not. If they're not getting back to your messages, they're not really interested.
Yeah, pretty
You know what I
much.
mean? Yeah.
If they don't answer, they don't want to know.
You
So
just see who gets back to you, see who's nice and polite like Enzo, and anyway, let's leave it there. Thanks for your time, Enzo.
No problem at all, mate.